I ask you, you grab a couple rosters? You just have 2 of them? Oh, you got 4? Perfect, thank you. Yeah, there wasn't anybody over there when I got in here, so.
Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Live from Kennewaw Hills High School, the MHSA Division I Girls Basketball Tournament. Check, check, check.
For where? Where?
We are live from Kennewaw Hills High School, the site of tonight's district championship game, MHSAA Division I Girls Basketball Tournament. It's the Muskegon Lady Reds versus the Knights of Kennewaw Hills. And again, this is a district championship game. We are set to hand out a trophy at the end of tonight's game, and the winner of tonight's game also will be heading to the regional round of the playoffs. This year, that regional will be hosted by Mona Shores. So we're looking forward to a nice short trip. If the Big Reds can get through tonight, then they will be able to stay in town for the next round of the playoffs. Not often you can get closer as you go further into the playoffs, but that is the case here in 2023 with the sites that have been predetermined for the rest of the tournament. Mom Bobecker along with Marie Williams, and we're here live courtside at Kennewaw Hills, and we were here on Wednesday night as well for the district semifinal when the Lady Reds knocked off Grand Haven 49-37. Big night for the Lady Reds to just get that win. They had a couple of years where they lost in the first round of the playoffs after some long runs previous to that. So I think they just really needed to get that big win and get the confidence back, Marie.
Absolutely, Bob. And again, thank you again for having me on tonight. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to tonight's game with the Lady Reds and the Knights of Kennewaw Hills.
Well, the Knights of Kennewaw Hills pulled off a big upset on Wednesday. I'd say you look at their team record, it wasn't like a losing record or somebody that would have been a 30-point underdog, but they were certainly considered underdogs to the number 2 seeded Reese Puffer Rockets. Reese Puffer came into that game with a 15-game winning streak. And again, being the number 2 seed, they were expected to make it to this game tonight against Muskegon, of course, the number 1 seed. But it didn't work out that way. Kennewaw Hills just kind of hung around, stayed close, and at the end, they put on a nice little surge, including the winning layup with 3 seconds to go.
Absolutely. They were a scrappy team on Wednesday night. They actually slowed the game down pretty well so that they kind of took Puffer out of their usual rhythm of playing their game. So they made sure that Reese Puffer played at the pace that they wanted them to play at, and yes, they did hang around until those last few seconds, and it was real crucial for Reese Puffer with Coach Walker calling his last time out there with like 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, so that there was no time or no opportunity for him to call a timeout to regroup his team with those last 3.5 seconds ticking down.
Yeah, and you mentioned that in our game, Marie, that Muskegon was trying to do the exact same thing to Grand Haven. They were trying to dictate the tempo and take them out of what they came into the game with for their plan A and force them into a plan B or plan C. And Muskegon was able to do that from about the middle of the first quarter on. As you said, it took Kanawha Hills maybe a little longer, but it seemed like they kind of had that game plan going all along, and maybe people just didn't realize it.
They actually didn't realize it. And like you stated earlier, they 15-8 record. It was something that was kind of probably overlooked in this district, but they, again, hung around, and Coach Kimball did a great job on Wednesday night with his team.
Yeah, last year, Kanawha Hills beat Muskegon in the first round of the playoffs in the district quarterfinals. That was the first win for Kanawha Hills in the playoffs since 2011, and that also happened to come at the expense of the Big Reds. So the last 2 times that they had won a playoff game previous to the Puffer game was at the hands of Muskegon. They had gone 10 straight seasons of one and done, losing in the first round of the playoffs between 11 and then, of course, last year. So Muskegon, of course, remembers what happened, and that was at the RPG. It was Muskegon's home court. And Muskegon went into that game 11-9, I think, and they were like 9-10, so it wasn't a lot of difference in the records. But Kanawha Hills ended up beating Muskegon last year, and so I think all these girls that are on the team from last year are going to very much be thinking about that.
Yes, there's quite a couple young ladies that were on the team from last year, but hopefully that's not what they actually go into the game thinking about and playing their game plan that Coach Loudermill has drew up and coming home tonight, hopefully victorious with the district championship.
Well, again, as you mentioned, the trophy is on the line tonight. They will be handing out some hardware, which would look really great over at the Hall of Champions at the Redmond Potter Gymnasium hallway over there. So we're hoping to bring home the hardware tonight. And again, even the benefit of going to the regionals and being to play over at Mona Shores, where they're very comfortable in that building.
Absolutely. Actually can consider that kind of like a home game.
It very much would be very much like a home game. As you said, they play Mona Shores a couple of times every season in the OK Green Conference. So Muskegon would love to have the next round of the playoffs over there. And, of course, it would be beneficial to our fans as well, the ones that don't want to have to travel quite so far. We're basically right back in our own backyard. So we are looking forward to the potential for that. But, again, a lot of business to be done before that. Muskegon's got to win this game first against a Kanawha Hills team, which is 11-2 at home this year, and they've won 9 in a row here, Marie. So they're obviously gaining a lot of confidence from being on this floor.
Absolutely, absolutely they are. And then again, especially from Wednesday night, big win and an upset, because it was truly definitely an upset.
Yes, it was, and they probably won't agree with that. They're probably going to say we were very confident in ourselves, in our game plan, in our coaching staff, and in the players that they have. And what I noticed watching Kanawha Hills on Wednesday night was they did a nice job of getting the ball to people where they want the ball. You know, sometimes you're just kind of running offense and you get a little helter-skelter, and you end up with girls taking shots from places they don't necessarily like to be. But it seems like Kanawha Hills was very intentional about finding and spacing people on the floor, and then when they got an open look, they took the shot, and more times than not, they hit it.
They actually did. You are absolutely right. And they were very patient offensively as well. They didn't force too many passes inside. They waited and they looked, and of course, like you said, they ended up getting the ball in the spots that they wanted the ball to go to. So hopefully tonight the Big Reds paid attention to that when they were here watching that game, and hopefully their defense comes up tonight so that they stop that.
What would you say is a bigger key tonight, Marie? Is it Muskegon and their offensive game plan, or would it be Kanawha Hills and the way that they defend Muskegon? Would you say there's one of those that's maybe more important than the other?
I'm going to say the way the Knights are going to have to defend the Lady Reds. The Lady Reds are quick. The Lady Reds like to get the ball out in transition and run. So that's going to be very crucial for the Knights tonight.
Yeah, we saw Reese Puffer struggle a little bit in getting maybe a little bit desperate early. They seem to have control of the game. They get up by 6 or 8 points, and then they kind of seem to just think maybe this is going to be easy, and they maybe took a little bit of their focus off. And this is the type of game where you have to be focused for 32 minutes because no lead is too big. We even saw against Grand Haven on Wednesday night, Muskegon got a 20-point lead that shrunk down to 10 with a few minutes left in the game. So you always have to have the foot on the gas, and you always have to have the focus.
Absolutely. You cannot take your foot off the gas. When you are up, you have to stay up. You have to do whatever you did to get in that position. You have to keep it going. Don't slow the game down. Continue to score, continue to push the ball up the court, take good shots, rebound the ball well, and look for open teammates.
You've coached this game at this level, so you understand how difficult is it, though. You can say that to me, and I understand it. How hard is it to get the girls to stay that focused and understand that it took them a certain style of play to get to where they are, and how do you convince them that they have to stay that way, they can't just deviate?
It's actually, when they get some things set in their head because they're out on the court and they tell you that they can see things that you don't see, still at the same time. We got to this point playing the game together in a certain way, so we have to continue that momentum going in until that clock says 0-0-0, and we got a W in the win column. We're going to play the game the way that we got them to be there.
Well, highlighted on the Big Red Radio Network Facebook page. If you're not a follower, maybe check it out. Give us a like and a follow over there. We had a pre-game. We always do this on game days, but we talked about Muskegon's tough non-conference schedule.
Yes.
7 out of the 8 teams that are Michigan-based, so they all counted toward their Michigan Power Rankings. And the other thing is, all 7 teams that are in the state of Michigan that we played non-conference are all playing in a district final tonight. That is unbelievable that the strength of their schedule has put all of those teams playing in a game at this magnitude, and it just shows you the strength of schedule. That's why they're the number 1 seed here. They took a few lumps in the earliest part of the season playing those teams, but I think they learned a lot, and it made them better and more prepared for what they're doing now.
Yep, absolutely it did.
So we're just a moment away from the start of tonight's game. Want to thank, of course, those who make this broadcast possible from behind the scenes. Mihan Quinn, of course, that's DJ Q89 over at 103.7 The Beat and M106. And, of course, Deontay back at Muskegon High School. Deontay Davis, who is handling things from our end of it. So we're all working together to make this broadcast happen. So you can listen on 106.1 WUGM and also on the website www.m106fm.com. So thanks for joining us. We've got an exciting night of basketball coming up. It is the district championship game. Winner moves on to the regionals. Loser goes home. The season's over. And here is tonight's Star Spangled Banner. And there you have it. Well, Kennewaw Hills' nickname is the Knights, and so they call their student section the Dungeon. And I would say the Dungeon had a factor in Wednesday's game, and I know they have all year. We talked about their success here, 9 in a row. They've won at home, 11-2 overall this year. And the thing they did well, I think, for Kennewaw Hills, we talked about how they stayed close. They didn't let Reese Puffer get a big run. Like, they get up ahead 7 or 8 points. Kennewaw Hills would reel them back into within 2 or 3. Then they might get down by 6 or 7, and they'd get close again. But I think the student section gave them a lot of energy, and again, whenever they needed a basket, they seemed to get one.
Absolutely. So, and like again, what I said earlier, they were scrappy. They were patient. They got the ball to the spots on the floor where they needed them to go. So we're going to see how key that is for the Lady Knights tonight.
Coach Bernard Loudermill in his first year as the varsity coach for the Lady Reds. He served 9 years as the Big Red Boys varsity coach years ago, before the arrival of Coach Keith Guy. So he's very familiar with Muskegon, his program, and the kids. But this is his first year as the Lady Reds head coach. And on the other side, for the Kennewick Hills Knights, you got Brandon Kimball. It's only his second year as the head coach. He spent a couple of years here as an assistant coach before that, helped out at the middle school level. He's a graduate of Kennewick Hills High School, so he understands his program very well also. And again, Kennewick Hills did beat Muskegon a year ago, so he was here for that and got that team out of that long playoff drought. Taviana Davis being introduced. She had a huge impact on the game, Marie. A couple of big layups in that fourth quarter when Grand Haven was pushing back. Yes. She was the one who had the answer.
Absolutely. She has 23 points the other night. Big night for the senior here. Because for her, this is it. Her career could end tonight or it could continue next week.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Marie. The seniors have maybe a little more sense of urgency. Everybody wants to win, obviously. Mm-hmm. They've all prepared hard to win, but those seniors have that little extra something. As you said, they don't want their seasons to end tonight.
Nope, absolutely. Everybody has that dream of making it to the ship. So,
Lady Reds have 5 seniors on the roster, but they'll just start the one. Tip is controlled by Kennewick Hills, but they over and back immediately. They turn it over. They tapped it into the front court and won it, but then they threw it back to the guard, who was still in the backcourt. So it is a violation, and Muskegon will have the ball now, right at the scorer's table below us. And right below us is also that championship trophy.
Absolutely. So Kennewick Hills starts off in a man-to-man.
We'll monitor that as the game goes.
Yep.
Davis on the right wing, dribbles to the baseline, turns, spins, up, off the iron, no good, gets her own rebound, puts it back up, off the iron, still no good. Now it's put back and one.
Couple offensive rebounds in there for Davis already.
She fought hard for that.
She gets her first basket of the night.
And the foul, first call of the game, goes against Ella Thayer. And the three-point conversion for Taviana Davis, and the Lady Reds are up 3-0 here in the early going on their first possession of the contest. 3 cracks at it.
And of
Shot
course,
right
the
side.
Lady Reds start off in a man-to-man, of course, her signature.
And it is Thayer at the other end. She'll get the basket. Nice extra pass there.
An early timeout for Coach Loudermill.
Yeah,
they kind of seems like they were a little lost on defense there.
Yeah, great point, Marie. I was just going to say that first pass came to the baseline. Nobody within about 10 feet. The player took the shot and missed it, but then they got an offensive rebound, and then when they put it back underneath, there was nobody in the lane to guard Thayer, who just got an easy layup. And Coach Loudermill says, we get 5 timeouts. I'm going to spend one of them right now, 40 seconds into this game, to correct whatever that confusion is. And I think that's a good timeout.
Because we definitely can't come back down defensively and have that happen again. Everyone needs to know what their defensive assignment is. So that was already discussed before they hit the tip. So we're going to make sure that everybody remembers who they are guarding.
All right. So under the basket. Lady Reds will inbound it. And across the timeline, Breasia Gamble-Jones tries to split the defense, and she draws a foul. She went right down the middle of the lane. Had 2 Knights there waiting for her.
2 quick fouls on the Knights.
Adriana Marsiglia gets the foul. She was one of the stars of the game on Wednesday night against Reese Puffer. She was the player that looked for her shot, and her teammates were finding her at the right times. First free throw up and good from Breasia Gamble-Jones, one of the sophomore twins. Her and Brianna on the team together, on the floor together quite a bit. Second free throw off the mark. She splits the pair, 4-2. There's a runner for Kennewick Hills. There's a foul called as Aaliyah Winston had to offer the foul or give her the easy layup. It was number 23, Arena Giarte, who beat everyone down the floor.
Actually, Arena was the young lady who hit that game-winning shot Wednesday night.
She was. And in traffic, that was a ball that had gone about 10 seconds to go. The ball rolled around the rim. Everybody anticipated it, and it came out. She was on the spot. She grabbed the ball and just calmly flung it in.
Absolutely.
With 3 seconds to go for that win. She gets the second free throw. Lady Reds are up 4-3. Pass in the corner. Winston for 3 over everything. But Sane with a rebound and one.
Sane with a rebound and a putback.
That air ball from Winston turned into a very good pass.
Absolutely. A little assist there for Winston to Sane.
Yeah, it went all the way over the basket. Sane was on the backside. She caught it in the air and went to the rim, banked it in, and also got fouled, and her free throw is good.
Been good.
3-point play for the Lady Reds, their second of the game, and it's 7-3 Muskegon. 1:05 into this contest. You can feel the intensity, a big crowd on hand. Ball goes underneath. Giarte.
The jump ball there.
Wrestling with Winston right near the baseline, and the possession arrow favors Muskegon because Kanawha Hills won the opening tap. And Kanawha Hills putting the full court press on here in the early going. They're trying to keep Muskegon from getting that free run out. But Breasia Gamble-Jones makes the pass inside to her sister. She can't get it, but it goes off of Giarte's foot, and it'll be Lady Reds basketball.
The Lady Reds are seeming to push the ball up the court past that full court press, so we're going to see how long that the Knights actually keep that press on.
Ball inbounded to Breasia. She's got the right-hand dribble between the rings, angles toward the lane, tried to scoop a shot up, got partially blocked. She hit the deck, no call. Back comes Marsiglia. She's a junior.
She's guarded by Winston at the top. They're trying a little pick and roll with Winston getting caught down low.
There's Giarte against Brianna. Marsiglia drives left side, and we're going to get foul called against Breasia, who reached across the top. Did get some ball as well, but
got a little body too.
Less than 2 minutes into this one, 7-3 Lady Reds on top of the Knights of Kanawha Hills, who are the host of this year's district.
Marsiglia at the line for the Knights. And first free throw is up and good.
Second free throw rattles around, no good. They get an offensive rebound. Three-pointer from Mel Holman off the mark, and now we'll get a foul called as another offensive rebound.
Against Davis.
Both teams are struggling with the concept of boxing out right now. A lot of ball watching. They're watching the ball go up on the rim, but they're not feeling for the bodies around them and keeping them off the glass.
So Thayer is at the line for the Knights. The first free throw is up and good.
She's one of two sophomores. Her and Holman are the 10th graders that start for Kanawha Hills, and that's two of their better players. Thayer makes them both. Now they try a half-court pass to break the press, but it's stolen away by the Knights right at the midcourt stripe. Kanawha gets a shot inside. They couldn't get it to go, and on a block by Davis on the second attempt. And then a whistle. Great block by Taviana Davis. We talked about her impact she can make at both ends of the floor. She's a scorer, but she can also guard that rim and pull the rebounds down.
It's a second foul against Holman. That's going to be big for the Knights.
They throw it ahead to Sane. Sane dribbles right down the middle of the floor, banks it up and in.
Right, it's going to stop Mariah. She's going to go coast to coast.
And the Knights were there physically, but they didn't offer much resistance there.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But to your point, no one wants to pick up a foul this early, especially if you've already got one.
Or two, as we have Holman for the Knights.
Yep, and that's a great point, Marie, that that can make you a very passive defender. You're not willing to try to take a charge, because if it's called a block, and it's very much a judgment call, and you cannot afford to have a third foul here in the first quarter. we've only played 2 minutes and 21 seconds.
We have 7 fouls already been called in the first quarter alone.
Yeah, so we can tell already this officiating crew is calling the game pretty tight.
Yes, absolutely.
And again, no complaints as long as they're consistent, right? The coaches, the players have to adjust to the way that this 3-person crew calls the game.
Absolutely.
So 9-6, Lady Reds have the lead. Again, we're just a couple of minutes into this one, and this already got a lot of intensity. And again, a nice turnout here. They changed the time. Originally, this was a 7 o'clock start. They changed it to 5:30, anticipating there might be some bad weather. So far, that hasn't materialized. Offensive rebound again for the Knights. They get another try and a third try.
Put back.
And again, the Lady Reds not boxing out, just giving them free second and third chances on that trip. And I think he's going to have to go to the bench, Coach Laudermill, to find an answer for that. Now they go inside to Davis. Works her way in, and she banks it in.
Nice post-up move by Taviana down low.
That was a great job keeping her feet from traveling there.
Turnover by the Knights. Right there at half court, little mishap.
Well, Coach Laudermill's going to insert Jayla Martin, one of his freshmen, and she is one of the rebounding leaders on the team, so I think that's where he's going to try to change what's going on. And Kanawha Hills has been attacking the offensive glass with a lot of aggression in the early going. Here's Martin. She makes the pass inside. Davis knocked to the floor.
Contact.
Now a steal by Winston. Back to Davis.
Back to Davis for 2.
Great pass by Winston.
Big Reds go up by a quick 5 points.
That's just as good as the no call, I guess.
Absolutely. It was a big no call. It was a loose ball. Jayla Martin's up top.
She guards Marsiglia. Marsiglia drives around her, left side of the lane, banks it up and in. She is definitely one of their top offensive threats. She's got a good shot going early on. Here comes Saint at the other end, up and no basket. They're going to call a charge.
Offensive foul on Saint. We just talked about that.
Gayarte stood her ground and took the charge there.
Mariah's first, team's 4th.
Both teams have already been called for 4 fouls in the first 4 minutes of this contest. So that's how tight they're calling things.
Absolutely.
They're exactly halfway through the first quarter. Muskegon 13, Kanawha Hills 10. District championship game. Winner gets a trophy.
Big block by Martin.
That's what she's in there for. Immediately making a presence felt. Shot from the corner, off the mark. They get an offensive rebound. Tapped
Again,
around.
another offensive rebound by the Knights.
And it's going to end in free throws. Another foul called against Muskegon. And Marsiglia, who really does love the left side of the lane.
Yes, she does.
I've never seen her drive right, but once she gets turned on her defender, she tries to go the left side around that low screen.
Fouls charged to Jayla Martin, her first. Mariah Saint was a little upset thinking that foul was charged to her, but it actually was charged to Martin.
That's a good call for Muskegon. First free throw by Marsiglia missed. Second swish. So it's a 2-point game. 13-11, Muskegon on top with the basketball. Traveling right to left from our broadcast position here on the scorer's table side of the court.
And the Knights actually pulled that full court press off. I wonder how long that was going to take them.
Winston went for a 3, it got blocked. Davis picked up the block along the left side of the lane and then went to the rim, and then we saw a whistle. Foul called on Gayarte. Her first. It'll be 2 free throws for Taviana Davis, the senior, who played with Muskegon Heights a year ago, went all the way to the state quarterfinals. Got a lot of good playoff experience. Now with the Lady Reds. Still not sure where the officials have.
There's something that's happening there.
Yeah, since that last call was made,
Yeah.
There's been several discussions with the scoring table.
I almost think they gave Giarte a warning for some excessive talking, but they kind of came over and told the table. So
Davis split the pair, missed the first, made the second. 14-11. Lady Reds have a 3-point lead. Marsiglia at the top of the key. Hands it off to Giarte.
Yeah.
Into the corner. Right three-pointer way off the mark.
Out of bounds.
Kalena Mull with a 3-point shot.
I don't know. That was kind of a little misunderstanding there. Sane tried to save the ball in, and it hit one of the Knights in the face, but ended up touching Sane as she was standing back out of bounds.
Yeah, she was very close. They were right next to each other, so it looked like it did maybe go back into Sane, who was already out of bounds, if that ball did indeed deflect
Absolutely.
off her last. So it is still Kanawha Hills basketball. 2:55 to go, first quarter. Here's Mull, gets it to Marsiglia. There's a switch. Just coming into the game is Kamaya Anderson, who's a defensive specialist for the Lady Reds, and she's called for the foul. She has been paying attention on the bench. She watched Marsiglia go to the left every time, so she took the switch there and knew she was going that way. She tried to get a quick steal and go the other way, but she was called for the reach-in.
Yes, she was.
Now they'll put Sane back on Marsiglia. At the top between the rings. High screen set there by Moderman. Now ball off the feet of Giarte. They go to the floor with it. 3 players wrestle there. They're going to call it jump ball.
Stay with the Knights.
Yep, alternate possessions favors Kanawha Hills. 2.5 to go. First quarter, 14-11. Muskegon leading Kanawha Hills in this district championship game.
Sane up top guarding Marsiglia. Keeping her up there. They're going to watch the high screen and the switch.
Yeah, they run pretty much the same play they just ran a moment ago. Giarte gets the shot, skims off the back of the rim. Otterman with an offensive rebound. Another one for the Knights. Here's Giarte running left side, scoops it up to the right side. No good. Another offensive putback for the Knights. Lady Reds, Briasia goes to the floor, and before she can try to pass it, she was falling down. So if she tries to get up at all, she'll be called for the travel. And that means Coach Loudermill has to spend his second timeout here in the first quarter. You only get 5 in a game. Those are precious. We found that out with Reese Puffer on Wednesday night.
Actually, it's pretty big. So you get a crew of officials. You know, once you fall to the floor, you get one crew of officials that cause a travel. And then you get some crew, as we just saw, that they did not. So Bridge was able to keep possession, and Coach Loudermill was able to get a timeout so they can keep the ball.
Now, Marie, I got to ask you this as a coach. Is it more important to save that possession at this point in the first quarter, or is it more important to have a timeout later?
It's still early, so he gave up. He's called 2 30-second timeouts. So if he can manage to keep his timeouts now and use them wisely within the next 3 quarters, this wouldn't be a big deal.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Knights have put their full court press back on.
Yep, Davis going to dribble across the timeline, and Lady Reds will get into their half-court offense here. Just under 2 to play.
A lot of hand checking.
It's Ella Thayer who's guarding Davis, well away from the basket. They certainly have respect for Taviana's game. Sane now on the right wing.
Clearing Jayla Martin out of there.
Yeah, she's got a mismatch.
Definitely has a mismatch.
They bounce it inside. Jayla Martin, nice spin move inside, couldn't get it to go.
It's a great move by Martin.
It really was.
The ball just kind of came in and out of there.
Oh boy, Kamaya Anderson is going to be called for her second foul. She's only been in the game for a minute and a half off the bench.
That's going to put the Knights in a 1-1 in the first quarter. The minute and 28 seconds left in the game. First quarter, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. Players are going to have to adjust. We talked about that. This is the way the game's being called, and that you can't change that.
Absolutely.
Marsiglia at the free throw line. She gets a free throw. Yeah, Anderson there just got a little aggressive. She saw maybe a chance to go for another steal and bumped into Marsiglia. And the officials called it right away, as they've been doing all night. 2 free throws are good. And now it's a 1-point game. Muskegon 14, Kennewaw Hills 13. Sain down the right side, scoops it up off the iron, no good. Rebound Marsiglia. Picks it up, Giarte. Oh, here's a near steal by Brieja. Marsiglia gets it back. The 2 teams kind of exchanging possessions there very quickly, but the Knights have it back. Giarte starts left. They go back to Marsiglia on the right baseline against Sain. Keeps the dribble alive, dumps it down looking for Moderman. Davis knocked it away. And then a nice save by Sain. Here's Brianna. And Brianna's going to let that run out of bounds. It will be Muskegon basketball on the baseline. 48 seconds to go in the opening quarter. We've already had 12 fouls called in this one.
Timeout by the Knights.
And both these coaches not afraid to call timeouts. It's early going.
Absolutely.
We saw Coach Loudermill call one 40 seconds into the game tonight, and then he just called another a moment ago. And we've also got Coach Kimball calling timeouts as well.
Got to get the girls settled down, get them to understand this is still just the first quarter here, ladies. We still have 3 big quarters left to play. (14-13), 48.7 seconds left in the first quarter, I'm sorry.
Once again, if you're just joining us, welcome aboard. We are broadcasting on WGM 106.1 FM in Muskegon, also on their website at m106fm.com, and you can just click on that and listen live to the stream. You can also check out the Umoja app, UMOJA, and then you just select M106 when you get your choice of stations. And then you're always just one touch away from listening to M106. All right, Lady Reds inbound the basketball after the Kennewaw timeout.
Looks like they may take the last shot of the first quarter.
Davis is almost at the midcourt. She's on the KH logo here for Kennewaw Hills. 30 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Davis still backing herself right to that midcourt stripe. Now 25 seconds to go. Her and Brianna Gamble-Jones playing catch up top. Watching how that Knight defense responds.
And they're sitting in a 2-3 zone right now.
Now down to 10 seconds. Davis attacks to the right side. Kicks it off. Brieja Gamble-Jones for 3. Off the back iron, no good. Rebound for Sain. Rolls around, no good. It's still loose. And a jump ball. I believe that favors Muskegon with 0.9 seconds to go. So you can get a catch and shoot here on the inbound and maybe get something up and at least have a chance to make it here. And it's tapped away from Davis, and that'll end the first quarter. Very intense action. Muskegon will take a 1-point lead into the first quarter break. We saw 12 fouls called. We saw 4 timeouts taken. We've seen a lot in just 8 minutes of basketball, Marie.
Absolutely. A very exciting first quarter of play here in the district championship game. So we're going to see who comes out first from the timeout leading into the second quarter, who's going to get that first strike. See where the momentum goes from here.
What would your adjustment be if you're down in that Lady Red huddle? You've seen 8 minutes of action. How the flow of the game, the officials, the way they're calling it, what would be your advice right now?
If I was Coach Loudermill, I'd be telling the young ladies, you got to keep your man in front of you. If they're up top and they're doing the screening, we can't switch. If we're going to switch, we better make sure that we're making space with that young lady off that pick and roll switch. Also, we cannot keep reaching. We have to make sure that when we keep them in front of us, we don't need any more fouls. We're already in a 1-on-1 situation right here, so 3 quick fouls will put them in a double bonus real fast.
All right. I like the game plan. Let's see what happens here in quarter number 2. The Knights have the arrow, so they get the first possession. And again, it's a 1-point lead for the Lady Reds. They dump it down and trying to get inside. Now it's back to Marsiglia in the corner. Davis has got her. Pokes it into the Lady Reds bench. Taviana last touched it, so it'll still be Knights basketball.
Right.
And now we get a turnover. Marsiglia lost it out of bounds. She said she was pushed. Didn't get the call that time. So turnover to the Lady Reds. They'll get their first possession of the second quarter.
All right. The Knights look like they're in the matchup 2-3 zone here. Their man-to-man didn't last very long, probably with the quickness of the Big Reds.
Here's Davis for three off the left wing. Bang! She got it. Senior Taviana Davis with the big three-pointer. The first outside the arc three. They've had a couple of and one three-pointers on possessions, but that was their first long-range gun, and it's 17-13 Lady Reds, a minute into the second quarter.
The Lady Reds have also switched up their defense. They're playing a 1-2-2, keeping the Knights up top, out of the post.
And that's Sophia Moderman, senior for the Knights, who got the ball down low in the box and
it's kind
turned
of a
and
wild shot up there that get that foul charge to number 1 Brianna Campbell-Jones. She misses that first one. And again, just like I talked about, 8 fouls for the Lady Reds.
That could be a battle of attrition tonight. Keep those players on the floor. And second free throw also missed. Rebound, Jayla Martin. They kick it down the floor. Sane left open for three. Off the back rim. Bounces twice. No good. Martin with an offensive rebound. Stolen away by Moderman, and she'll be called for the foul. Martin had great position once again, and as she turned toward the basket, Moderman clamped down on her and tried to steal the ball. But again, the way things are being called, that's a fair whistle.
Actually, they didn't call that on Moderman. They called it on Galarte, and that's going to be her second.
Oh, wow. Didn't see that. Davis, 15-footer, off the mark.
Rebound by Martin again.
Well, we saw she was the first one that Coach Lott called off the bench, and they were worried about some of the rebounding discrepancies out there, and she has certainly helped that cause.
Absolutely. Bayer picks up her second foul.
Martin won't get that first one. It bounced a couple of times up on the iron.
It's sending Holman back in the ball game. She also has 2 fouls for the Knights, so she's been sitting for a minute.
Yep, and she'll replace Galarte, who just got her second. Second free throw also missed. Davis almost had it, but Marsiglia took it.
Marsiglia.
She goes down the left side, as she always does, and she gets the shot. Little 10-foot floater. And the Lady Reds got to realize that's the only direction she's going to go tonight is left.
Is left.
Again, the Lady Reds patiently assessing the defense from the top of the key. Davis skips it all the way across. Briasia Gamble-Jones steps inside the arc. Whistle and a blocking foul.
Charge to Holman. That's going to be her third.
Oh, Marie. They just put her back in the game.
Yeah.
And I think she's coming back out.
Absolutely, she is. Kelly Walski's going to replace her.
She hit a huge three against Reese Puffer. Holman did in that rally in the fourth quarter. So she is definitely a player that they rely on for some offense.
Absolutely. She's only a sophomore, but she definitely plays big minutes for the Knights. And right now, those minutes are going to be cut short.
Coach Kimball had no choice but to take her out of there. The front end of the 1-and-1 is missed by Briasia Gamble-Jones. 17-15, Lady Reds lead by 2. Knights have the basketball. Kelly Walski hands it back to Marsiglia. Moderman in the lane, blocked by Briasia Gamble-Jones. She goes to the floor. We get a whistle, and they'll call it a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Muskegon. Several jump balls have been called as these two teams scrap after. When the ball hits the floor, his body's behind it.
Definitely.
Every time. Lady Reds bring it across the timeline. 5:25 to go in the second quarter. Muskegon leads it by 2. It's been a close game all the way through. Briasia with a 3, off the iron, no good. Davis fighting for the board, turns and puts it back up and in.
Offensive rebound and put back by Davis.
She got the ball right in the middle of the lane, turned to her right on the spin move and freed herself up with a shot. Oh, there was a travel against Wolski that definitely was not called. And now they'll call another jump ball.
A possession.
Whoa.
Wow. I didn't see that.
I don't think fans of either team like that call.
Absolutely.
It looked like a travel. I thought maybe they'd do a makeup call because they missed an obvious travel, but then they compounded it by making another call. And now we'll get a push against the Knights. Davis had to steal in the corner. She was trying to get up the sideline, and she was bumped into.
It's going to be called on Mull. Her first, team's 9th. And again, we're only 4 minutes and 57 seconds left in the second quarter before halftime, and 17 total fouls for the game have been called.
We've only played 11 minutes of basketball.
Right.
And you said 15 fouls have been called, or 17 fouls.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That is huge.
Free throw, banks off, no good again. That was the front end of a 1-and-1. And now we'll get another jump ball. Muskegon does have the possession arrow. So we missed the front end of the 1-and-1, but we'll still have the basketball thanks to the arrow. 4:54 to go in the second quarter. They lob it inside and stolen away. And then Sane comes across, knocks Marsiglia to the floor. An easy call for the officials there.
Totally easy. It's going to be Mariah's second. Team's 9th.
That was on a kind of a 2-on-2 semi-fast break for the Knights, and Sane maybe thought she could just intervene there while the ball was still out near midcourt instead of letting that fast break develop. But she takes the whistle, so she'll have to take a seat on the bench.
Yes, just didn't kind of seem like they ran their out-of-bounds play correctly, and so turnover came from behind that.
Marsiglia rattles the first free throw in, so she'll get the bonus here. Both teams now have 9 team fouls, so it'll be double bonus the rest of the way on every whistle. Second free throw, no good. Rebound by Martin. She tries to outlet. Nearly stolen. It's on the floor. Marsiglia bounces it out of there. Finds her teammate, Herzog, and now they kick into the corner. So the Knights get an extra possession here. And it looked like the Lady Reds had the stop. Shot goes up, missed.
Another foul.
And this one, I think, on Moderman. She says, me? Is it on me? A real disbelief there. And I think it's genuine. She really doesn't feel like she did anything there.
I actually believe her.
Yeah, I do too.
If there's anything, it might have been the wrong 30, but hey, we don't have the stripes on tonight.
And that's only her first, so 2 free throws.
Lady Reds have missed quite a few free throws here in the first half.
And it's going to be a huge part of the game with all these whistles, so you're going to have to make a lot of free throws to get separation here tonight. Briasia gets the second free throw. Lady Reds lead 20-16 over the Knights.
Anderson up top with Marsiglia.
So Kamaya back in with those 2 fouls. I think everybody pretty much has 2 fouls now. So
Kamaya's trying to keep her to the right side of the court.
They get a screen from Wolski. Go back to Mull. Mull with the dribble against Martin. She goes left. Martin staying right with her. Deflected into the corner, but right into the hands of Wolski. They try to go inside.
Steal by Briasia. Gamble.
She's got the run out in the bucket.
Briasia Gamble-Jones for 2. Anderson's doing a great job keeping Marsiglia over here to the right side of the floor. Once the ball is out of Marsiglia's hands, it looked like the Lady Knights were a little confused on what they needed to do with it.
Shot up by Wolski off the mark. Davis with the rebound. Outlet to Briasia. She's running on the floor. Banks it in.
2 for Davis. Gamble-Jones with an assist from Davis.
Her hustle is giving them 4 quick points for the Lady Reds. 24-16 now. Biggest lead of the night for the Lady Reds.
And it's kind of big for Anderson to be up top to keep Marsiglia off that left side of the floor.
Near steal.
Oh, it's a foul.
A little hand on the hip there. Because again, she was trying to dictate where she went.
Absolutely. Did a great job on the first 2 possessions, like last 2 possessions, of keeping her to the right side of the floor. When she laid hands, that's what happens.
And she was 30 feet from the basket on the call, so it wasn't like she was into her motion to get the bucket. So that's a foul you don't want to necessarily give at that distance from the basket.
Absolutely.
And Anderson will have to sit down with that 3rd foul, and that means Sane comes back in with her 2 fouls. We get a lane violation against Modern. She stepped in too quick. So we won't even get the second free throw.
Both teams are in a double bonus here in the second quarter with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left.
Sane walking along the sideline gets a little conversation with Coach Laudermill. 3 minutes to go exactly in the second quarter. Lady Reds lead 24-16.
So it kind of looks like Coach Laudermill wants to dictate what the Knights are doing. He wants to bring them out of that zone. So he's going to keep the ball up high.
Sane with the dribble to the right. Backs it to the middle of the floor. 2:40 to go. Second quarter. Lady Reds by 8. Sane outside the arc on the left wing. Dribbles to the middle of the floor. Bounce back. Beja Jones for 3. No. Rebound Walski. Gayarte, who's just checked back in. And stolen from behind by Davis. Gayarte never saw her coming. Davis now, middle of the floor, zips it over to Winston. Extra pass. Breasia Gamble Jones off the iron, tapped around. And
another possession.
Jump ball favors Kenowa. Freshman Leah Winston there seemed like she had the ball, but was wrestled away from her. Now steal by Sane.
By Davis, actually.
Davis ahead. Back to Sane. Nice 2-man game between those two on the fast break.
10-point lead for the Lady Reds.
Yeah, first double-digit lead of the night. Stolen by Davis in the middle. It's a 2-on-1 with her and Sane. Davis will take it herself.
Oh,
no good.
No good. Oh,
but a whistle.
Foul.
Well, Davis took the shot, missed it, but then Sane was pushed from behind as she was going to stand and try to get an offensive rebound.
So that foul was charged to Mo.
Yeah, she was just a little aggressive on the blockout.
Right.
So free throws here, 2 of them for Mariah Sane, the freshman from Muskegon. Swish. She makes it. Brianna Gamble Jones will replace her sister, Breasia. Those 2 sophomores have been dynamite contributors this year for the Lady Reds. Second free throw also good for Sane. Need to see those. 12-point lead. This just came out of nowhere for the Lady Reds. It was 19-16 forever. It was 14-13 after the first quarter. And the Lady Reds have outscored them 14-3 here in this second quarter. Now here's a steal in the corner. Jayla Martin, she tried to pass it to Brianna, and then it was knocked out of bounds by the Knights. So Muskegon has the ball.
Checking in the ball game for the Lady Reds is number 11, Kennedy Laudermill. She's also a freshman.
And just so happens to be the coach's daughter.
Absolutely. She replaces Sane.
Full court press by the Knights. Davis takes the inbound. Little push off there against Thayer. Davis with the dribble up top between the legs. Not a good handle for a 5'10 player. She can definitely handle the rock.
Right.
1 minute to go here in the second quarter. Davis tries a little too far. Her teammates weren't coming toward her. She had to make a long pass. Gayarte. Really, Garte thought she had a foul for sure. She went in for the layup. She tried to scoop it, but she had the ball low, and Davis just kind of swatted it as it went up.
And she was last touched it while she was standing out of bounds, Davis did.
Yeah, she had not reestablished herself, so as she came back in, she touched the ball and was considered out of bounds.
All right, absolutely.
Marsiglia, 16-footer on the right baseline. She knocks it down. First field goal for the Knights in a long time.
Absolutely.
That was quite the drought for Kennewaw Hills. And now the Lady Reds turn it over on that full court press, causing Muskegon a little trouble. They only had 2 players really in the mix, the inbounder and one other teammate. Everybody else was too far away. Marsiglia takes it inbounds, missed the shot from in close. Scramble for the loose ball, goes to Garte. Marsiglia with 1 foot inside the arc, long gun, no good. Rebound by Davis. 20 seconds to go in the half. Coach Laudermill yelling out instructions. Here's Davis, kicks it into the corner, and Kennedy couldn't handle it. It was way low to her left and had a little pace on it.
10 seconds left.
Lady Reds want the pressure on the ball here. And Holman's going to come back in with those 3 fouls for her offense. She replaces Walski. And now the Lady Reds also make a move. They'll go to Shamari Hamilton. And they'll put her on Holman one-on-one. And Hamilton got a hand on it. Here comes Holman up the right side. Euro step into the lane, scores. And just before the half, so they got what they wanted from Holman, who used about 9 of that 10 seconds to get that layup.
The Lady Reds go into halftime with an 8-point lead, 28-20. In this District 10 championship game tonight at Kennewaw Hills. There's going to be some heavy conversations going in there at halftime between both coaches.
So we are at halftime here. Again, the 4 districts that feed into this region. Let's take a look at what's going on elsewhere tonight. I believe these are all still 7 o'clock games because they originally were all 7. They changed this game to 5:30 because of the weather, anticipating it might get bad tonight, so they wanted to give people a better chance to beat the storm, at least not get caught in the thick of it. But anyway, elsewhere tonight at 7 o'clock, over in the Greenville district, we've got first top-seeded Rockford. They're 22-1 this year, and they're playing against Lowell, who is 18-6. So that should be a very good matchup. Rockford's only loss this year was to undefeated Grand Rapids West Catholic from Division II. And so Rockford highly favored to come out of there. On the opposite side, in the Wyoming district, this is the one that'll feed the winner to play Muskegon's winner here tonight. And we've got Byron Center, the top seed. They're 20-3 on the year. Their 3 losses this year came to East Kentwood, Rockford, and Hudsonville from the OK Red. And they're playing East Kentwood tonight. So East Kentwood did get the non-conference win over Byron Center earlier, and the 16-7 Falcons will play Byron Center for that championship. And then on the other side of the Rockford-Lowell district, we've got Hudsonville, the number 1 seed. They've advanced so far, and they're taking on Jenison. A bit of a surprise. Jenison knocked off Zeeland East. That wasn't the big surprise, but then they beat Granville in the second round, who they had trouble with during the regular season. So it's Jenison and Hudsonville, both from the OK Red. Winner of that plays Rockford and Lowell. And then, of course, again here, the Muskegon Kennewaw Hills winner will play the winner of Byron Center East Kentwood. Those are all next week at Mona Shores High School. So the Muskegon game would be the second game of the night at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, March 7th. There'd be a game at 5:30 before that. And then if they made it to the regional championship, that would be Thursday, March 9th at 7 o'clock at Mona Shores. So that's the reward for getting through districts for the Lady Reds, is they could be real close to home, just a couple of miles away from the campus of Mona Shores High School. with a 28-20 lead at the half. Marie Williams, what would your take on it be? What worked in that second quarter? What didn't work?
Well, what actually did work is when they kind of started to keep Marsiglia off of her comfort side of the floor over there, because she only wants to go to the left side of the floor. So when Kamai Anderson was inserted into the game, they did manage to do that. They kind of disrupted the Knights offense a little bit. And when Marsiglia was out there alone without Holman on there, the rest of the Knights didn't have too many other options to look for. On the Lady Reds end of the court, they definitely got the Knights to drop back into a 2-3 zone. They didn't stand there man-to-man too long there, because that quickness of the Lady Reds and getting up the court was, again, what dictated Coach Kimball to change that defense.
All right. We saw a lot of fouls called in the first quarter. That continued into the second quarter. The officials being very consistent with their whistles tonight, much to the chagrin of a lot of the fans here. I think both teams would rather see a little bit more flow to the game.
Absolutely.
Instead of all these whistles, which are breaking the momentum of the game up. But again, they've just established that they're going to call the game tight, and the players don't seem to be responding well to that, because they've seen the calls, they understand where the calls are being made, and yet though they're still committing the same fouls. And we've seen the Lady Reds a couple of times away from the basket, kind of getting too close, getting little hand checks. And that's the stuff that they're calling. So, again, I think the players maybe have to take a little bit more stock of that and say, the way to keep myself out of foul trouble is to just not commit those fouls.
Absolutely. Just keep your people in front of you, keep your girls in front of you, keep your hands out, spread out wide, especially when they're, 30 feet away from the basket. Definitely cannot have fouls being called at half court when there's absolutely no chance for a basket. So they have to be cognizant of that, actually on both ends, on the Lady Knights end and also the Lady Reds.
So 14-13 first quarter. The Lady Reds at one point had a 14-3 advantage in that second quarter, but the Knights did score the last 4 points of the quarter to cut the deficit from 12 down to 8. So they have a little bit of momentum. Now Muskegon comes out of the halftime locker room pretty quickly. Still about 5 minutes left on the clock, but they're already back. So Coach Loudermill has said what he has to say.
Get the ladies back out, warming up.
We've got a big crowd on hand here, not very many empty seats. They've also got the track that surrounds on the upper mezzanine, and there's a lot of people in standing room like the view from up top. That's where we are. We're on the mezzanine just behind the scorer's table. We have a great view of the action, and we are thankful for the spot here.
It's a great spot.
I want to thank again those who have made this broadcast possible from back in Muskegon. We've got Mihan Quinn, DJQ89 from, of course, if you're a listener of radio in Muskegon area, you know who DJQ89 is. Over on 103.7 The Beat. He's also the music director here on M106. And, of course, our own Deontay Davis, IT specialist at Muskegon High School, giving us all the right equipment and the right setup. And those two help doing all the work behind the scenes to make this broadcast happen, so we're very thankful for that. And I'm very thankful, Marie Williams, you're with me here tonight to call this game. And I know you snuck in here on Wednesday without much ado, but great analysis from you. You add a lot to the broadcast, your experience. Of course, you've coached at this level. You know what it takes. You've played at this level, obviously.
Absolutely.
And we're very thankful to have you here on the broadcast.
Well, again, I want to say thank you for allowing me to join you. It was a total surprise on Wednesday. But hey, it was a date again tonight.
Well, it's the Wednesday games. Again, Muskegon beat Grand Haven 49-37, and they did it with a big push in the second half. That game was very close throughout, and then Muskegon in the third and fourth quarter got the lead all the way up to 20 points, and they did it really with the strength of a multitude of players contributing. It wasn't just one player. Davis made a few key baskets, but again, the Lady Reds really have been pretty well balanced. You can't really just shut down one player for Muskegon. You've got to account for several players, and I think that's been a strength for Coach Laudermill all year.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then there are a couple players that you can bring in off the bench, like a Jayla Martin, who's going to get you some offensive rebounds, and she also can, score as well. So definitely points can be shared by the Lady Reds.
Also want to thank Mrs. Kimberly Moffitt, the athletic director here at Kanawha Hills, who has, again, gave us great accommodations, made sure we have everything we need. So thanks to Kimberly for all she's done for us on these 2 visits to Kanawha Hills High School. And again, part of that decision-making team, which wanted to try to make sure that the weather was not going to be too big of a factor for the fans either coming to or from the game. So always good to consider that factor, especially with Muskegon being the team that has the fans traveling to the game.
Yes, and of course the storm did hold off, so the fans were able to travel over and be here to
big turnout from the Muskegon crowd.
Absolutely.
Lots of fans here wearing red and white. We're about a minute away from the start of the 3rd quarter. If you're just joining us, you've missed a great game so far. We're in the district championship game, and I know some of our fans back home hopefully got all the message, because initially this was a 7 o'clock start, and even as of Wednesday night it was a 7 o'clock game. So if you came on Wednesday and went home and just made your plans to get back here at 7, you might get back here for the 4th quarter, but hopefully everyone got the word and got the message that this game was switched to 5:30. And so we are getting ready to start the 3rd quarter. And again, the winner of this game is going to advance to the regional round of the playoffs. And the regionals are at Mona Shores this year. So the winner of the 4 districts I just mentioned, Greenville, Zeeland, West, Wyoming, and here at Kanawha Hills, each champion, those 4 teams will show up at Mona Shores next Tuesday.
Possession to start this 3rd quarter will be with the Lady Reds.
Well, they get the first crack at it offensively, trying to add to this 8-point lead. It was as big as 12. That was the largest lead of that first quarter. Sane trying to force it inside to Davis. Good steal there defensively, though, for the Knights. They got there first. Orsiglia forcing the issue, missed the shot. Looking for the whistle, but didn't get it. Here's Davis on the run out.
They scored first.
Good assist for Brianna Gamble-Jones, who saw her ahead. Gave her the rock in perfect position. And now Gayarte, again, you can see the early strategy is just to go to the basket and try to force contact. Last time it didn't work. Marsiglia got bumped and banged to the floor, no call. This time they do get the whistle. The foul is called against Muskegon's Aaliyah Winston.
Her second. So we get the whistles back up starting in the second half on our first foul. With 36 seconds ticked off the clock.
Yeah, for those who aren't aware, they count fouls by the half, not by the quarter. So at the end of the half, they wipe off those. Both teams had over 10 fouls called in the first half, but now they're starting at 0 again. And then, of course, the first 6 are not foul related to free throws. They're 7th, 8th, and 9th are 1-and-1s, and then the 10th are the double bonus, 2 automatic free throws if we get that far into the second half. Here's Winston up top. And she threw it right between 2 Lady Reds. Tried to save it from Sane, but it went right to Holman. Holman, kind of a wild dribble. They zip it down underneath. Return pass to Gayarte, and she's going to get one, and the foul as well. Nice job of working the ball for the Knights. Ella Thayer with a good pass on the return to Gayarte, who was cutting hard to the basket again. Free throw too strong. Rebound fought for on the floor. Picked up by Moll. She goes up and in. Knights with a rally here to pull within 30-25. 5 quick points. Breasia gets it to Brianna, and one. What a job by Breasia to beat her defender on the baseline and then find her sister right in the middle of the lane.
Big basket right there for the Lady Reds.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails for the Knights, and they were getting all revved up here after that 5-point run.
That's going to be Morrow's, her third.
Free throw missed, though, by Brianna. 7-point game. Marsiglia got inside, missed the shot, got her own rebound. Dribbles into a double team, falls to the floor, ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Muskegon. I don't know how well you can hear the crowd in the background, but they're not happy.
They're not happy there.
We're on the Muskegon side as far as most of the spectators. They are mixed around, both teams, because of the benches.
Right.
Marsiglia looking for contact. She lowered the shoulder into Brianna.
Oh, wow.
And Brianna got the call.
Another foul.
Literally just standing there.
A quick 3 fouls charged to the Lady Reds in the third quarter with 5:58 left to go.
Diarte drives left baseline, 10-footer off the rim, no good. Holman had a hand on it, got tapped around and goes out of bounds. Last touch by Muskegon. It'll be Kanawha Hills basketball. 32-27, Lady Reds lead by 7. 5:50 to go in the third quarter of a hotly contested district championship game. Winston got a hand on the inbound, and now it's controlled finally by Davis. She'll dribble across the timeline.
Lady Reds have to be patient offensively.
You got Holman on Martin down low. That might be a good matchup because Holman's got 3 fouls. Marsiglia trying to stay with Davis. And got the shot up, but they're going to say foul on the floor first before the shot, as Marsiglia was riding that hip the whole way, and they finally called her for the foul. And
she goes down in pain there.
Yeah, she's holding that right shin, high ankle area. As again, that was a very physical one-on-one battle there on the drive to the basket, and she definitely got the worst of it.
Yes, she did. She picks up her second.
It's a little insult to injury there when you get knocked to the floor, injured, and get the foul call as well. Here comes the trainer. Head coach Brandon Gimbel was the first one over there to check on his star player.
Big Red trainer Zach Jones was out as well.
Yeah. These trainers always work great together. It's not about whose team they're there to represent. They're just there to make sure these student athletes are safe and taken care of.
Safe from injury. She is thriving in pain down there.
Yeah, she's still on her rear end, just sitting upright and getting that leg worked on. She's right on the baseline and on the court. And now they'll help her up. She's putting very little weight on that right leg.
Looks very good.
Hobble back toward the Kanawha Hills bench, helped by Coach Kimball.
Galarte.
It's 32-25 Lady Reds. They'll get the ball on the baseline because, again, there was a foul, but the non-shooting foul. Davis actually made the shot after the whistle, but it had been called already as a non-shooting foul. Second foul, as you mentioned, Marie, on Marsiglia, the junior. And we'll have to see if she can come back. We'll mark that down. 5:32 is when she takes that injury.
Wow. No call there as Sane is trying to get the ball inbound.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best way to describe what you see there, Marie, is just saying, wow. That says a lot. Again, these officials have called a lot, but they've also not called some things that you thought would have been called. Right there,
yeah.
The ball was really on the floor loose. Davis just reached down there to knock the ball away. Again, it was pretty much a free ball, and now they do call the foul. So again, it's not so much that they've called so much, it's just some of the things that they haven't and
some of the things that they have.
Yeah, and again, there's 3 different officials, and they all have their different standards. So shot up, missed. Rebound back toward the middle of the court. Fight for it. Lady Reds on it, and they're going to call over and back.
With no one having possession right there. But hey.
Again, nobody really happy tonight.
Absolutely not.
Fans of both teams are getting their booze in tonight with their $7 purchase of the tickets. Inbound to Mariah Sane, freshman point guard for the Lady Reds. High screen from Brianna Gamble-Jones.
Again.
Yep. Sane goes down on a hip-to-hip contact. She's shaken up on the play, but no foul called either way. They just let the ball go out of bounds. Coach Loudermill several feet onto the floor arguing. Here's a 3-on-1 for the Knights, and they'll get it. Oh, they missed a shot from in close. Point blank range. And then Brianna had a heads-up play. She turned around and shoveled it right off to Walski, who was standing right there in front of her, and they had to call it back to Muskegon. Boy, there's intensity in this gym tonight. Here's Breasia Gamble-Jones, coast to coast, and lays it up and in off the glass.
Absolutely. That full court press is going to kill the Knights if they don't stop the ball. Mariah Sane up top, guarding Holman.
Holman drives to the right, deflected by
Davis.
Yeah, Davis, and she'll be fouled.
Foul charge to number 23, Galarte. That's her third.
Bob Ecker, Marie Williams, and 1,200 or so referees on hand here at Kennewood Hills.
They all got stripes on, as you can look across the crowd and see.
Lady Reds basketball, they lead 34-25, 9-point lead for Muskegon. And an errant pass from Sane. Just tried to throw it all the way across the court, and Winston couldn't get anywhere near it.
Absolutely. Not making great decisions here, the Lady Reds. So, again,
there's so little action between whistles, Marie. We talked about this in the first half. It's really breaking up the flow of the game. We still haven't even hit the halfway point of the third quarter with all of these whistles. 7 more fouls called.
Yep.
Couple jump balls. Here's a steal by Winston. Martin slings it ahead for Sane, and she'll get the layup. Nice job there by Aaliyah Winston, the freshman, with a steal. It leads to another easy bucket for the Lady Reds, who now lead it by 11. Second largest lead of the night. They led by 12 in that first half. Three-pointer, good from Helena Mall. Her first points of the night. Here's Breasia Gamble-Jones, cross. Sane for 3 at the top of the key, banks it off the rim, no good. Rebound. Jalen Martin knocked to the floor, and they'll just call it jump ball.
So again, you kind of look and see certain things that are being called and certain things that are not. So again, at this point in the game, you just play basketball.
Tyviana Davis is heading to the locker room for the Lady Reds. Holman, outside the arc. Trying to go back to Mall, who just made that 3, but she was guarded quickly by Martin this time. Here's Gallarte. Bounce pass underneath. Blocked from behind by Breasia Gamble-Jones, but they're going to call the foul on Breasia.
It's going to be Breasia's third, team's 5th.
So the Knights have temporarily lost Marsiglia. The Lady Reds have lost Davis. 2 of the top players for each team.
Thayer is at the line for the Knights. Connects on the first.
36-29. Lady Reds by 7 with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Thayer makes them both. And Sane again knocked to the floor.
It's going to be Melanie Holman's going to pick up her 4th.
Yep, and that's a fair foul there. There's a lot of clutching and grabbing, and Sane again had to hit the deck hard. She's going to need an ice bath after this one.
Big time.
She is.
Got Anderson checking back in the ball game for Breasia Gamble-Jones.
Again, Holman with her 4th foul. She'll have to sit down with still 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Lots of game left. Jayla Martin got inside, missed the shot, and then she committed the foul. A lot of frustration there. It was a beautiful pass on the inside. Martin just a little too much on it, forced over the rim, and then she went right over the back of the Knight player that got the missed shot. Again, just a little frustration there on the freshman Jayla Martin. That's her 2nd, team 6th. Yep. Maul off her fingertips to Moderman. Moderman double teamed, tries to walk through it, got away with it. Steal by Sane. And the run out and the layup.
Big Reds in their full court press here. It's kind of rattling the Knights.
Yeah, the Knights don't have a lot of real confident ball handlers. And now we'll get another foul called against the Knights. They got it down low, but Martin grabbed a rebound, and then she was pushed to the floor.
By Thayer. It's her 3rd. So again, we are
team 5th on the Knights. There have been 11 fouls called here in this quarter, and there's still 2:25 to go as we're almost into the bonus already here for this. Again, they don't reset it at the quarter, so as soon as you get the bonus in the 3rd quarter, you'll have the entire 4th quarter going to the free throw line as well. Well, Davis is back after a quick trip to the locker room. Near steal there by Kelly Walski, who got a hand on it. Muskegon trying to inbound it in the backcourt, and again, the Knights have employed that full court press.
absolutely.
Here's Sane, crossover, and back to the right, across the timeline. Swings it into the corner for Anderson up top. Davis left open for 3. Rattles around, no good. Rebound on the floor. There's a scrum for it. 4 players on the deck, 2 for each team. And the alternate possession arrow favors Muskegon. Not a game for the faint of heart here at Kanawha Hills High School.
Absolutely not.
Bob Ecker along with Marie Williams bringing you all the action on WUGM 106.1 FM and M106FM.com. We'll be back with you next week for lots of basketball. If the Lady Reds prevail, they'll go on to the Mona Shores Regional. And then, of course, the boys, the Big Red Boys, will start their playoffs next week on Wednesday at Coopersville. That's the site of their district. They'll play the winner of Grand Rapids Union Mona Shores on Monday. That's when that first round game will take place. And there's a foul on Gayarte, who is slapping at Mariah Sane.
It's going to be her 4th.
2 players with 4 fouls now for the Knights here in the 3rd quarter. So big trouble for a couple of their starters. Gayarte is going to stay in there with those 4 fouls. She's going to have to play with some discipline here against Sane. They lob it inside. Catch by Davis. She's fouled. Oh, they're going to call a travel. (38-30), Muskegon with the lead. Minute 42 to go in the 3rd quarter. Davis was triple teamed in the paint. They said she took the extra step. Knights tapped around at midcourt. Gayarte picks it up behind the back, lost the handle. And then she, oh boy.
A foul again. Charge to the Knights.
That was on Moderman. Her and Gayarte were both right there. Gayarte better be really careful with those 4 fouls.
Absolutely.
She almost got caught with her hand in the cookie jar. Meanwhile, Lady Reds will get a 1-and-1 here. That was the 7th team foul on the Knights. So, Brianna Gamble-Jones rolls around, doesn't get the first. Now goes to the floor. They tie it up. Arrow favors the Knights. So Kanawha Hills basketball, 1:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. Muskegon 38, Kanawha Hills 30. District championship game. Winner gets a trophy and a ticket to the regionals next week. Garte in the backcourt. Tries to throw it through Sane. Block. Davis back to Sane. Up and in. Full court press working for the Lady Reds.
Timeout by the Knights.
Coach Brandon Kimball, the first one to flinch. Both teams called 2 timeouts in the first quarter. They didn't call any timeouts in the second quarter, and they had not called any timeouts until there was 1:13 left here in the third. So to your point earlier, Marie, you said using those early timeouts wasn't that big a deal as long as you managed them properly down the stretch. That was a great point by you, and the coaches have done just that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Coach Kimball definitely had to call a timeout. His players are unable to get past that full court zone press that the Lady Reds have put on right now.
And this is where the Lady Reds have been several times tonight with that double-digit lead. They led by 12 in the second quarter. Earlier they led by 11 here in this quarter. Then it got back down to 6. Now it's back up to 10. This is that point kind of where they took the game over against Grand Haven and took a 10-point lead and turned it into a 20-point lead. Let's see if the Lady Reds can get another surge here at the tail end of the third quarter.
Absolutely. Coach Kimball is actually trying to look to see where he can draw some offense from, but he has to get past this Lady Reds full court zone press first.
Well, he's missing Marsiglia because of injury. He's missing Holman because of fouls. She has 4.
And Galarte has 4, so she's been very careful.
But you're right, that's a tough ask for them to find offense with this lineup they have on the floor right now.
Yes, and Coach Loudermill has inserted Tania Keys here for the last couple minutes. And again, the Lady Reds are getting their hands on these passes in this zone press.
Nearly a 10-second call. They get it ahead, and they'll get the easy layup. Ella Thayer got Brianna Gamble-Jones off her feet. Pump faked it and then put it up and in. Back to an 8-point game. Here's Davis. And timeout, Coach Loudermill. And so now that's going to leave both teams with 2 timeouts left.
Yep. With
43 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Muskegon leading at 40-32. The Lady Reds led 14-13 after the first quarter. They led 28-20 at halftime. So this game has been pretty close throughout. The Lady Reds keep getting to this point where, again, they get just around that double-digit lead, and then the Knights kind of reel them back in. That's exactly what they did against Reese Puffer on Wednesday. Every time the Rockets tried to make a run, the Knights answered and stayed close enough to pull off the big shocker at the end of the game. And we see that big student section over there in the dungeon has been making a lot of noise, and their team, if they ever needed a little boost from the crowd, is right now.
Absolutely. So we're going to see how big that student section can get up for their Lady Knights. But the Lady Reds right now absolutely have to be patient. And for Coach Loudermill right now, I'll be running up to take the last shot of the third quarter. I would keep the ball up top. I would make them come out and guard me, but then I would definitely put the ball in and bring it back up top. I wouldn't start that offense till about 12 or 11 seconds left going to the basket.
I love the thought process, Marie, on that. I think they should try to hold here for the last shot. That's a great call because they're up by 8 with 43 seconds to go in the third. And if it's no worse than that, that certainly is their advantage going into quarter number 4. And maybe they can get it back to double digits. Here's Sane on the right wing. Yep. Guarded by Giarte, who's got those 4 fouls, has to let her run right by. Sane knew that.
Yep.
Got the shot up. Anderson with an offensive rebound on the other end. Hits it to Winston.
Yep.
23 seconds to go. They weren't holding for the last shot there. Sane, once she beat Giarte, took the shot. Now they may hold. Here's Davis. Guarded up top by Thayer. And now gets it off to Sane. Sane again guarded by Giarte. That's a tough ask for someone with 4 fouls. Davis driving the right side. Ran into a wall there. No call, and Moderman just launches it down the court out of bounds on a desperation attempt at the end of the quarter. Davis just tried to go 1-on-3 there, and there was just no call. That wasn't necessarily a bad call there. She tried to force it in.
It was a good no call.
And Moderman, just kind of stood her ground. So that ends the third quarter with Muskegon leading it 40-32. Both teams scoring 12 points in that third quarter, so very even 8 minutes of basketball. Now we look at the foul situation. The Knights have been called for 7. Muskegon's been called for 6. So every whistle from now on will be free throws, whether they're 1-and-1 or 2 shots. And again, both teams will have 2 timeouts entering this fourth quarter.
Absolutely. It's going to be very big and crucial. Holman's going to be checking back in the ball game to start the fourth quarter with those 4 fouls. So Coach Kimball is whispering in her ear right now, telling her, be careful.
And you look down at the end of the bench there, it's Adriana Marsiglia with her foot propped up, unable to continue after that high ankle sprain, what looked like a high ankle sprain anyway, on that drive where she tried to take a charge against Davis, hit the deck hard, and that was with 5:32 to go in the third quarter. And that has made it much tougher on the Knights here to try to generate offense because most of it goes through her.
Yes, it does. And now with her off the court, the Knights are going to have to struggle trying to find out where they're going to pick some offense up from.
Lady Reds open this fourth quarter with the basketball. Anderson. Asia Gamble-Jones, nice pass inside to Davis. Beautiful assist from Briasia.
Davis is actually hobbling a little bit as well when she went out, grabbing her thigh area a little earlier.
Yeah, we saw her, yep. Here's a pass ahead. Lady Reds fall asleep there.
Yes, they did.
They had too much pressure in the near court. They forgot all about the Knights that were still in the front court. And it was an easy basket for Thayer.
Yep. And we have a delay of game warning charged to the Knights.
They tried to kind of keep Muskegon from inbounding there. 42-34. Lady Reds have the 8-point lead still, but they gave up an easy one there after the nice basket by Davis on the offensive end. Here she comes back again. Stops and pops for 3. Off the back iron, no good. And the smallest player out there, Kamaya Anderson, with an offensive rebound. Same
with the rebound and the put back.
With a crazy body control. Seemed to be falling out of bounds away from the basket. Somehow put enough English on the ball to skid it in off the backboard. Here's Davis with the steal. Ahead to Sane and the run out and the layup. Lady Reds putting on the show here. Early fourth quarter. Holman tries to go inside. Stolen by Briasia Gamble-Jones. Up the middle of the floor. Fake the pass, took the shot, draws the foul.
Looks like that's going to be against Gilarte.
That was a college level move by Briasia Gamble-Jones to fake the dish to the corner, and the defender fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker, and then she still went for the shot and got fouled. And you are right, Marie Williams. That's foul number 5 on their other star player, Arena Gayarte, who will have to watch the rest of this one from the bench along with her teammate, Marsiglia. Jayla Martin getting ready to check back in. We'll have 2 free throws here for Briasia Gamble-Jones, the sophomore sensation. Oh, that first one rattles around.
In and out.
Lady Reds
definitely go up real quick and fast. Like 12 points, and we talked about that double-digit lead. Same way they went up by double digits against Grand Haven.
Second free throw for Jones is up and in. She splits the pair, 47-34. Biggest lead for the Lady Reds at 13. Here's a steal for Sane. She dumps it back across. Briasia Gamble-Jones, up and in. Great teamwork on the full court pressure. Here's another near steal. Ball's on the floor. Lady Reds driving on top of it. Arrow's going to favor the Knights this time. But great pressure from the Lady Reds in the backcourt again. They know the ball handlers are not out there for Kenowa Hills.
Absolutely.
Their Holman 2 best players are on the bench.
And Holman is the only ball handler that the Knights have right now.
And even she's a little shaky in traffic.
Yes, she is.
So 49-34. Lady Reds with the biggest lead. 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Trying to put away this district championship game. Trophy to be handed out when this one's over. Moderman hands it off to her teammate Herzog. Shot up, no good. Ball goes to the floor. And we get another jump ball back to the Lady Reds.
Another jump ball. 5 minutes and 51 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Lady Reds have a 15-point lead.
Oh, pass ahead to Anderson. Nobody saw her. He was shrieking down the court. She's got the ball underneath, lays it up, and off the rim from point-blank range. Anderson couldn't get that one to go down. Holman wildly dribbling up high, loses control of it. Here comes Sane
with the steal.
Run out, walk up the glass, and in.
Holman just kind of gave up after that pass right there. Never even turned around and got back on defense.
Davis all over. Now Sane, they tie it up, or they're going to call a foul here on Davis.
What? Really? Oh, it looks like a...
Yep.
Well, no.
A reach-in on Davis.
No. What?
That's the call.
What?
Holman was double-teamed by Sane and Davis and just kind of swung her arms around. They say that Davis got a hold of her in trying to steal the ball away. So free throws coming for Holman. It'll be a 1-and-1 opportunity. First
Davis
one
picks up her third.
No good. They battle for the rebound. Martin got it. Ahead to Davis. Crossover dribble. Swings it to Brazier Gamble. Jones for two. Lady Reds dishing the ball beautifully tonight. Great assists. There's Holman using the off arm. And they don't call it.
Of course, they're not going to call that. He was behind her. He kind of didn't see that push off in the off arm.
Yeah, she extended fully to get that defender off of her, but they call it the other way.
She's frustrated right now, so they may not have saw that one, but they're going to catch her. She's letting her frustration show.
And she's got 4 fouls. This is Mel Holman, the sophomore. This time she hits the front end of the 1-and-1.
Sane picked up her third foul on that last possession.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. 53-35. Lady Reds lead by 18. But again, this Knights team will not give up. They did not give up against Wednesday against Puffer. They trailed pretty much that entire game and then came back to win it at the end. Jump ball favors the Knights.
Well, I guess I'm kind of confused. If the ball goes to the top of the basket, is that not considered out of bounds?
Should be.
Again, we've had some very questionable calls tonight.
Holman to Herzog for 3, way off the mark. But it's an offensive rebound and put back by Thayer.
Yeah.
So again, Lady Reds a little lax on the boxing out. Here's Sane. Oh, nice move.
Little hesitation and an up and over to the basket by Mariah Sane.
It's hard to remember she's just a 9th grader sometimes.
Yes.
And now Kamaya Anderson in the backcourt. Now they're going to call the foul on Breasia Gamble Jones, who gives it the 2 arms up. Who, me? 55-37 Lady Reds. 4.5 still to go. And this 4.5 is an eternity, folks, with all the whistles we've seen, all the free throws, the fouls. Don't go anywhere yet. This one is not done.
Breasia Gamble Jones picks up her 4th foul.
Holman at the free throw line again, her 3rd straight trip there. She makes the 1st. And now with 9 fouls on the Lady Reds, they will be in the double bonus for the Knights. Every whistle here the rest of the way. Holman missed the 2nd free throw. Tracked down by Jayla Martin. Ahead to Davis. Breasia Gamble Jones with the catch outside the arc. Lady Reds should not be in a hurry to try to score here. They've got the lead and the ball, but it's tapped away. Back come the Knights. Here's Holman. Up and off the mark, no good. But they get a rebound by Thayer. And she puts it up and in. Lady Reds now lead by 15. Here comes Davis. Through the hands of Martin. And out of bounds. Lady Reds just got to settle down, not be in such a hurry.
Yep.
It's hard because I see that the Knights are pressuring, so once you beat a player, you have the numbers advantage going forward.
Right.
But you still don't really need to score right now. Martin and Holman tie it up in the backcourt. 2 players in foul trouble, battling each other. whistle, and the arrow favors Muskegon. Basically, we've got half a quarter to go still, 3:57. We might end after some of the 7 o'clock games, Marie, if this keeps up.
And again, another turnover for the Lady Reds. Again, not being patient offensively.
Yeah, Muskegon has a 15-point lead with 3:50 to go.
The Knights are going to use a timeout.
So they'll have 1 left. He's got a full and a 30. He takes the 30. And so with 3:50 to go here in the 4th quarter. Yeah, we started at 5:30. It's just about 7 o'clock. So all those other district finals about to get underway. Again, just to remind everyone, in Greenville tonight, it's Rockford, the number 1 seed, taking on the number 2 seed Lowell. The winner of that game will play the winner of Hudsonville versus Jenison. That's at the Zeeland West site. Hudsonville, the number 1 seed there. The number 2 seed, Holland West Ottawa, was beaten on the opening night of the playoffs, surprisingly, by Granville. On the other side, Muskegon side of the bracket, you got Byron Center playing East Kentwood at Wyoming High School tonight. Byron Center 20-3, East Kentwood 16-7, but East Kentwood beat Byron Center earlier in non-conference play. Winner of that game will play the winner of this game on Tuesday at Mona Shores High School. Coleman now with the dribble in the backcourt. Across the timeline against Anderson, stolen by Davis. Just took the ball from the backside, lays it up and in.
And again, Holman doesn't get back on defense.
Nope, she was so concerned with Kamaya Anderson on her right, she turned to the left, and Davis was right there to steal it away. Here's Holman racing up the left sideline. Brianna shuts her down there. Bounce pass to Herzog. Starts left, spins right. Thayer throws it up over the basket. Sane with a rebound for Muskegon. We near the 3-minute mark. Sane all the way down the floor. And a block by Thayer. And Brianna Gamble-Jones is up limping. She hit the deck hard there on the baseline. And then the ball went off of her while she was out of bounds. But again, the Lady Reds trying to throw the ball 50 feet down the floor when they've got the lead and the basketball.
Absolutely. And Lady Reds are still with that full court pressure.
Holman right down the middle of the floor. Thayer threw it under the backboard.
And that's going to be Holman. That foul's going to be charged to Holman.
Yeah, Thayer just got too far into the basket. It was a great pass to her, but she went to lay it up and she hit the bottom of the backboard.
And Melanie Holman picks up her 5th foul. That's going to be putting Breasia Gamble-Jones to the line for the Lady Reds. So now Brandon Kimball has to go deep down on the bench.
Yeah, top 3 players for the Knights are all unavailable now. 2 have been fouled out in Holman and Gallarte, and they lost Marsiglia to injury back in that 3rd quarter, which seemed like 3 hours ago.
Absolutely.
But it's now 57-40 Lady Reds, and they've got free throws coming. And as you said, Coach Kimball's digging deep into his bench now. 35, that's Ella Eichnier, a senior, with her first action of the night.
And also number 13, Jaden Turner, junior.
Free throw for Breasia Gamble-Jones, the sophomore from Muskegon. Up and good. She'll get the second. Both teams have committed 9 fouls here in the second half, so it's double bonus the rest of the way out of whistle for both teams. Second free throw off the iron, no good. And out of bounds.
I don't know why the clock ticked, but 2 minutes and 55 seconds left on the clock. Big Reds, Lady Reds up by 18.
There's Eichnier ahead. Moderman missed the shot. Trying to get her own rebound. They do keep it alive for the Knights. Shot up and off the mark by Walski on the floor. Winston battles for it for Muskegon against Walski.
It is going to be very interesting to see how many jump balls we have had in this game tonight.
We should have kept that stat.
We actually should have.
We should have probably called the total number of whistles and played the over tonight if we were in Vegas. There have been a lot. Here's Sane down the middle against all 5 defenders. Took him to the hole and scores.
That was a huge basket by the Lady Reds.
Again, you got a lot of reserves out there with don't play a lot for Kennewaw Hills trying to rally. They're going to travel just not in their comfort zone here.
Absolutely.
Without their 3 floor leaders who are all on the bench for Kennewaw Hills now. Lady Reds leading at 60-40.
Also in the Coach Loudermill, he's inserting number 3, Shamari Hamilton, back in the lineup, and also number 11, Kennedy Loudermill, his daughter. Saying at the top of the key.
Exactly 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Lady Reds by 20. It has not been that easy if you're just joining us. Sane. Briasia Gamble-Jones now between the rings, starts right, cuts back left. Winston in the corner for 3. Skids off the back of the rim, no good. Hamilton with the rebound and a putback from Muskegon. Shamari Hamilton, the sophomore, with a key bucket. Thayer across the timeline. Eitner blocked by Hamilton, they'll call the foul.
Well, I don't know. He got a ball out of bounds, and we got one referee calling a foul. So,
yeah. Well, you know who's going to win that one?
The foul.
The foul.
The foul. Could be Shamari's first. Team's 10. Looks like Coach Loudermill is going to clear his bench there and get everybody some district playing time. It's going to be sending Indiana Howard, senior. And also senior number 24, Sahira Peavy. Checking in for Briasia Gamble-Jones and Mariah Sane.
And Sane limps to the bench. She's had a tough night physically, but has again played a fantastic game. Eitner missed the first free throw, makes the second.
Also checking in the ball game is going to be number 22, Cameron Ward, a sophomore who moved up for a district play.
Lady Reds with the ball in a 21-point lead with 1:20 to go. Peavy had the ball knocked away. Shot up and in.
That's senior Deanna Howard.
Good strong move to the basket. Positioned herself right in front and banked it in.
Still by Peavy.
Peavy up and in.
Another basket. Sahira Peavy.
40 seconds to go in this one. Knights missed the shot.
Rebound by Hamilton. Up top to Ward. Even the sophomore Cameron Ward is
the Lady Reds
tonight.
getting in on the act here down the stretch. It's going to be a fun bus ride home tonight for the Lady Reds. And they're going to bring a little hardware with them.
Absolutely.
I hope they save a seat on the bus for the trophy. 20 seconds to go. Lady Reds 68, Knights 41.
20 seconds away from a district championship for Coach Bernard Loudermill and the Lady Reds. His first since 2008 as a boys coach.
Yeah.
Oh, Shamari got a little anxious there, turned the ball over.
That was a fantastic season you just referenced right there, 2008.
Absolutely.
Those Big Red boys.
Finished in lost in the quarterfinals down in Lansing Eastern.
Yep. Yeah, they won the conference that year, won the district regional.
Yep. And he also was the 2008 Coach of the Year, still by Cameron Ward. Another 2 points
He
for
got
Cameron
6
Ward.
off the bench in about
And that's the
1
ball
minute.
game, folks. With Muskegon Lady Reds down in the Kennewaw Lady Knights 70-41, being crowned district champion.
Well, Maria, the Lady Reds outscored them 30-9 in the 4th quarter.
Oh my.
I referenced that in the Big Red Radio Network Facebook page that if the Lady Reds could push the score into the 60s, they had scored 70 this year was the high for the Lady Reds. They had scored 60 or more 7 times, and Knights had only scored 60 once, and that was on Monday against Union. Not a comfort zone for them to be in a type of tempo game, and the Lady Reds really jack the tempo up in that second half.
Yes, they did. Like we said, Kennewood Hills wanted to dictate the route that the game wanted to go, but the Lady Reds basically came out on top. They were the team that dictated how this game was going to be played tonight, and they did exactly that.
First quarter, it was very even, 14-13. Muskegon led by 1 after the opening 8 minutes.
It's kind of weird that the team is leaving the court, but that's definitely not the protocol, is that they have to kind of sit around and wait until that trophy is presented. Unfortunately, with the loss, they still have to sit and listen and watch the other team be awarded that trophy.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mistake by the second-year coach.
Yeah.
Brandon Kimball not keeping his team here, as is always the tradition after a hard-fought game. And
they're actually coming back out on the court because their athletic director, Ms. Moffitt, went in and got them out.
Nice job by Kimberly Moffitt to make sure they're out here for that.
Absolutely. Kudos to her.
As painful as it is, that is the tradition.
Yes.
So we applaud Mrs. Kimberly Moffitt for that. And they come back and dry some tears, but the Lady Reds are moving on. They're going to be at Mona Shores next Tuesday, Marie.
Next Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
Practically a home game.
Practically a home game. We do have to wait about an hour and a half to see who their opponent may be.
It'll be the winner of Byron Center and East Kentwood. Again, Byron Center lost to East Kentwood. One of their 3 losses this year, and all 3 of their losses for Byron Center were to OK Red teams. And now the players will receive their individual awards, their little medals, before they present the team trophy.
And we have
Coach and athletic director Keith Guy, who is getting his boys team ready to do battle next Wednesday night in the second round. The Big Reds boys will be the top seed in the Coopersville district, so they have Monday off. They will play the winner of Grand Rapids Union and Mona Shores, who will play on Monday, and then the Big Reds will play them on Wednesday night.
Absolutely. So it looks like the Muskegon Public Schools district going to have a busy week next week.
Yes.
With girls and boys basketball.
Lady Reds will play Tuesday at 7 o'clock at Mona Shores. Boys will play Wednesday at 5:30. And then, of course, if the Lady Reds win on Tuesday, they'll play again on Thursday, again at Mona Shores. If the Big Red boys win on Wednesday, they'll play again on Friday at Coopersville. So, exciting week of basketball coming up, and Taviana Davis draws the large cheer as she's called out individually. Big team effort again for the Lady Reds tonight. Huge fourth quarter. Again, Lady Reds scored 14 in the first, 14 in the second, 12 in the third, and then they explode for 30 points in that final 8 minutes to win it 70-41 here on the home court of the Kennewaw Hills Knights. Lady Reds now get the team trophy, and now they'll assemble for the post-game picture. See Smitty down there, Craig Smith, getting the photographs.
Absolutely. Best photographer on the east-west side of the state. Congratulations to Coach Bernard Loudermill, Coach Albert Coleman, Coach Kamaria Williams, and the Muskegon Lady Reds basketball team as they take their trophy.
Uh-oh, water bath for the coaches.
Hey, they give the coaches the water bath.
We're going to need cleanup in aisle 6. Cleanup in aisle 6. Lady Reds celebrating. Well, you see it in football all the time when they dump the water bottle Usually it's an entire jug in football, but here they've just got the small water bottle, so they
No,
made
actually, they did get the jug.
Did they get the jug?
Yeah, the jug is over there empty now.
Okay.
They did get the jug. It's been a long time coming for the Lady Reds, so.
And their last district title was 2018-19.
Yeah, totally, definitely not something
and then
that.
those 2 years of back-to-back first-round losses, I think that really made the Lady Reds hungry tonight. Even on Wednesday when they had to play that semifinal against Grand Haven, that bad taste in their mouth from 2 straight years of first-round losses after good regular seasons. But tonight,
Absolutely.
they cash in what's been a very good season. The Lady Reds entered tonight's game with a record of 16-7. So that's win number 17 tonight as they head to regionals next week. They'll play on Tuesday at Mona Shores High School against the winner of Byron Center and East Kentwood, which is just getting underway right now as we speak.
Absolutely. So, again, congratulations to the Muskegon Lady Reds and Coach Bernard Latimer.
They're going to linger around and enjoy this one a little bit longer. They've taken a couple of victory laps with the trophy. And, of course, the media waiting to get some interviews in. They want to talk to some of these district champion Lady Reds, get some quotes. So the Lady Reds enter this district as the #1 seed, and they hold court here at Kennewaw Hills. They win Wednesday night against Grand Haven, 49-37, and then they vanquish the Knights here on their home floor, 70-41. Huge second half. Muskegon scored 28 points in that first half, and they scored 42 points in the third and fourth quarters to help get the victory tonight.
Absolutely. Like you said, that big fourth quarter. Huge for the Lady Reds. And again, we have to wait about a good hour and a half before we can learn who their opponent will be next week.
And we are just about to wrap things up here. I want to once again thank all those who have made this broadcast possible. Thanks to the athletic director here at Kennewaw Hills High School, Mrs. Kimberly Moffitt. We want to thank Mihan Quinn, DJQ89 from M106 and, of course, 103.7 The Beat. And Deontay Davis back at Muskegon, our IT specialist. And, of course, Marie Williams, my partner here for the last couple of nights of broadcasts. Marie, it's been a pleasure working with you and a lot of fun. Your final thoughts on the game tonight?
Well, if the Lady Reds can continue to play basketball the way they played tonight together and to push the ball and keep their momentum and the tempo, and they be able to dictate the tempo of the game, we may be seeing a regional advance for next week.
All right, well, they have moved on. Tuesday night, they will play at Mona Shores High School against the winner of Byron Center. East Kentwood just getting underway. Stay tuned to the Muskegon Big Red Radio Network Facebook page. We'll have all the updates, all the scores, all the stories for you on the Big Red Radio Network Facebook page. Stay tuned there for all the details about next week's big broadcasts back here on M106. Lady Reds will be in action on Tuesday. The Big Red Boys will start their playoffs on Wednesday. Thanks again to everyone for making this broadcast possible. This is Bob Ecker giving you the final score one last time from Kennewaw Hills High School in the MHSAA Division I District Championship game. Muskegon 70, Kennewaw Hills 41. Lady Reds take the trophy home. They're heading to regionals. Good night, everybody.